Let me tell you an interesting fact. I have been asked to facilitate workshops about loneliness. I have been asked to organize workshops about loneliness, to give presentations and talks about loneliness. And what I noticed in a very unofficial survey that I did, right? It was nothing official. I noticed that many people who were participating as the audience in these workshops, in these presentations, in these lectures, many people there, they were interested in the topic of loneliness. They were struggling. They admitted that they were struggling with loneliness. And at the same time, I noticed that they had some of the main, most important features of perfectionism. They were perfectionists. And I couldn't help notice that indeed perfectionists sometimes are very lonely. They're struggling with their fear of failure. They're struggling with the fear of rejection. They're setting unrealistic standards for themselves. They're setting unrealistic standards for others as well. They're judging too much. They are um, setting these boundaries between them and other people by disconnecting from them. And I will tell you exactly what I mean with these barriers. So I have collected already 4 or 5 reasons that I would like to explain to you why perfectionists are struggling with authentic, deep, meaningful connections, because that's what we mean with the antidote to loneliness. What is missing in their life is not just people around them, they have people around them, but we're talking about the lack of authentic and deep and meaningful connection with others. That's something that they're struggling with. That's their Achilles heel. So, some of the reasons that perfectionists are struggling with loneliness. First of all, it's very important for a perfectionist to show to others that they are handling life well, that they are managing life. And I have worked with many perfectionists in my life, and I know how much they try in order to do that, in order to show this. I don't know, I don't like the word, but it's the only word I can find at the moment. This facade, the facade that I'm handling life, everything is fine with me, I don't struggle at all, I am doing perfectly well. And what's wrong with that? Well, it's fine. I mean, we cannot just go out and share our struggles with everybody, but they are also doing it with their own people, with the people that they're supposed to be. They're safe, the safe people. So they're not doing it with their friends. They're not sharing their struggles with their partners. They're not sharing their struggles with maybe a very good colleague that they work with. So as you see, they keep this inside them. And um, a life where we don't share our struggles, it's a very lonely life. We have to carry all this by ourselves. We have to show to others that it's going well. And it gets even worse when people really believe that it's going well and we are handling our challenges very well. And what they do, they ask more help. So a perfectionist who would also be a people pleaser would say, of course, you should ask me anytime you want my help. I'm here to help you, of course. Because again, that's their idea of perfection, that I am handling life, I can manage, and I can also help others. So imagine, not only they have to carry their own struggles, not only they have to hide them very well and put on this mask that everything is okay, but also they have to carry other people's lives. Not only it's lonely, but it's also exhausting, right? Now, another reason, as we said before, a perfectionist is somebody who is setting unrealistic standards for themselves, but also they're setting unrealistic standards for others. And specifically, somebody who is, as we call, the social oriented perfectionist is the one who thinks that other people have standards from them. Other people expect them to be perfect. So they're running on this, uh, hamster wheel every day because they think that other people expect them and other people will be disappointed if they don't deliver, if they're not perfect, if they're not growing and progressing all the time. So what happens is that they focus on the people who are demanding. They're focusing on the people who expect them to do things. They focus on the people that they want to satisfy. And that can be a partner, that can be a family member. However, these people um, will either they don't know about this standard, so it's the perfectionist that thinks that other people will be disappointed of me, or other people have standard of me. So either these people don't have an idea, a clue about these standards, or these people will never be satisfied. And if you've been raised by a perfectionistic parent, you know that you get a 9, they say, why not a 10? You get an A, they say, why not an A plus? You get a job and they ask, when are you going to get the promotion? You get married and then they ask, when are you going to have children? They always ask. They are never satisfied. So either these people don't know about this expectation, this image that the perfectionist has in their head, or they will never be satisfied. What's wrong with that? Well, perfectionists focus on them, but at the same time, and that's the irony, and that's the sad thing about perfectionists, being a perfectionist, is that they miss those people that they don't have any crazy expectations. They miss the people that they accept them as they are. So a perfectionist would focus on somebody who is always putting a carrot in front of your nose and making you run. But somebody would say, well, I love you as you are, or I like you as you are. You don't need to try for me. And then they would be like, all right, okay, yeah, thank you. They don't even notice. They're not going to say something like that, but they don't even notice these people that they're there to care no matter what. They don't expect you to become something else so that they would like you or be satisfied with you. So, unfortunately, if you are a perfectionist, if you're working with perfectionists, if you have struggled with perfectionists before, or you live with a perfectionist, you know that sometimes we overlook those that they don't have demands. We overlook those that they value different things in life, those that they value connection, kindness, care, support, honesty, authenticity. We don't resonate so much with that. A perfectionist will not resonate so much with that. So that was my second reason. My third reason is that a perfectionist is a person who's struggling already with their self acceptance. That's why they overcompensate by seeking approval by others. However, there's a trap here. If we don't approve ourselves, if we don't accept ourselves as we are, and sometimes I hear people saying, well, I know I'm weird, I'm stupid, I'm not enough, I will never be enough, or there's something wrong with me, right? So this is exactly what we mean with I haven't accepted myself. If we don't accept ourselves, what happens is that even though some people from our environment will approve of us, it's like a Teflon. It doesn't stay with us. We are not happy. We will hear the praise today. We will be happy for a couple of minutes or hours. And then tomorrow, back to square number one, where we will believe that we have to continue trying because what we heard as a praise yesterday may change at any moment today, and whatever we have achieved so far, it's like nothing, and we have to keep trying. So you see how easy we cancel our progress or our skills or our strengths because we lack of self-acceptance. So what happens? How is that connected with loneliness? So when we are struggling with accepting ourselves, we also don't understand how others accept us unconditionally. So if you meet somebody, for example, and they do like us, usually a perfectionist would be mistrustful and they would be, well, what's the catch here? Why they like me? What do they want from me? What's the strings attached here, right? So they would be mistrustful, and that, of course, will have an impact on their connection, right? It would be like an exchange, more like an exchange rather than an authentic and a real connection. Reason number 4, work-life balance. A perfectionist is oriented towards results. They want to have achievements, they want to have success, they want to grow in their life, and everything is measurable. However, life is not only statistics and progress and achievements and awards, right? Um, and just because relationships are not measurable, you cannot measure happiness, you cannot measure love, you cannot control whether somebody would love you or like you or not. For perfectionists, work is a safety haven. A perfectionist became a perfectionist because they were looking safety and control in their life. And focusing on work, focusing on your homework, focusing on tangible results is something that offers a temporary or perceived safety or control. And that's why they focus, why perfectionists focus so much on work. And as a result, especially if they are very strong perfectionists, severe perfectionists, toxic perfectionists, they overlook the importance of relationships. They prioritize work. They feel they say to themselves, I have to work, I have to continue that, I have to finish my report, I have to sacrifice my weekend. And what can you do? Work. Work is important. Work is important. That's their motto. And they're missing out on important relationships. I still remember when I was talking to a woman who was a really strong perfectionist. And she was a perfectionist not only at work, but also as her role as a woman, as a mother. And she would fill her day with checklists, and she would fill her day with all the tasks that she needs to do when she's at work, when she's at home. And when it was time for her to sit down and play with her children, she would feel completely disconnected, and still her mind would be, yeah, but I haven't finished my checklist. I have to do this, I have to do that. And she would be terrified with the thought that what's happening with me? And I cannot enjoy the moment with my children. What's happened? Well, perfectionism is happening. It fills our day with all these tasks and to do lists and expectations that probably we think other people have of us. And energy is being depleted and joy is being just thrown out of the window. And there goes connection as well. So these were 4 reasons that I chose to share with you why perfectionists are lonely. And how to reverse that? Well, first of all, we're trying to again to see that being a perfectionist feels safe, but it's not safe. It offers a temporary relief, as we say, and temporary feeling and sense of safety, but we're not safe. It's something that makes us feel like familiar because it's a comfort zone. We have been doing that all our lives. We think that if we manage work or all these expectations, we will be enough, we will be accepted, but that's not the case. The case is that only when we connect with other people and when we connect with ourselves and we accept ourselves, then we manage to feel enough. Work, as I said before, it's a hamster wheel. No matter how much you try, there's always more and more. And then you will never feel that you're enough. If you don't know whether you're a perfectionist or not, or how much of a perfectionist you are, there's a guide that I have created for you, and you can find it at AntiLoneliness.com. And you can see all the 20 features of a perfectionist, and you can see how much of a perfectionist you are. Reversing perfectionism, which means reversing loneliness, means we're focusing more on relationships, we're practicing self acceptance, we're practicing self compassion together with self acceptance. And we are trying to deal with these overwhelming fears we have as perfectionists, the fear of failure, shame that we're feeling. So, indeed, it's a lot of work, but it's doable and it's definitely worthy. And remember, our goal is not to completely eradicate perfectionism from our lives. Our goal is to go from the toxic to the healthy perfectionism, which means I still want to grow, I still want to progress, but without missing the joy, the happiness, the connection, the authenticity that I want to have in my life. I want to be my true self while I'm growing instead of pretending to be somebody else. I hope I gave you a good idea about perfectionism and loneliness and the connection between these two. I'm here if you have more questions, and if you have any feedback about that. And Maria, I see your comments. Thank you very much. And Peter, thank you very much for your feedback. I'm glad to see that it was a helpful description of perfectionism and loneliness and the connection between these two. I'm Vasi Sarandopoulou from AntiLoneliness, and I'm here to support you in your self-growth and self-exploration. Have a good day.